Teenagers, how do we get them to use the library? This is a hot topic for many libraries, and I have 6 tips for you, plus 3 things that are working against you that make this work harder. We're just going to acknowledge that that's a thing and talk about teenagers in this episode of the Library Marketing Show. Welcome, everyone. I'm Angela Hursh. I'm the person behind superlibrarymarketing.com. Head on over there. You can leave your email address and you'll get a notification every time I post. Also, look for the Library Marketing Show tab. You can ask a question for a future episode of the show or nominate your library or someone else's library for something they've done in library promotions. For our Kudos Award, we're going to start with Kudos today, and Kudos today is a nomination that has come in for Grosse Pointe Public Library. A couple of weeks ago, they had a very big author event at their library, and their PR person did a little trick that is really, really smart. They targeted the arts and entertainment reporter at the Detroit Free Press, which is a huge newspaper that covers the Detroit area. So Grosse Pointe Library is a small suburban library, so it's difficult for them to get attention from the Detroit Free Press. But because the PR person targeted the right reporter, they got a big article in the paper, and they got a call from CBS News in Detroit. So great job, Grosse Pointe Public Library. That is the way you do it when you get press for an event. Target the right reporters. And now for today's topic, which also came in through the Library Marketing Show tab. It is a question, and I think it's one that a lot of you are wondering about. Do you have any suggestions for reaching out to teens to increase usage? I have 6, and I have 3 things that are going to be hurdles for your library if you're trying to increase use of teens at your branches. So here's tip number 1. Set some goals first. I hear this often from libraries. We want to increase the number of teens using the library. But what exactly does that mean? How many are using the library now? Where would you like to be? And what do you want them to do specifically? Check out books, attend programs. You're probably going to say all the things, but I'm going to advise you to be specific and set some specific goals. It is going to make the rest of your marketing much easier if you have goals with numbers and a specific time frame to work for first. My second tip is to ask the teenagers who are already using the library to help you figure out what your selling points are. Yes, I know libraries don't actually sell things, but when we're talking in terms of marketing, we're looking for those things that helped the teens who use your library make the decision to do that. On that same note, my tip number 3 is to create a teen advisory board. This they can meet once a month, maybe once every other month, but it gives you access to ask questions of teenagers about what they need, maybe what trends are happening in education or within the teen community, so that you can match available services at your library to meet those needs. Tip number 4 is to ask your teen volunteers what they think you should do to get more teens to use the library. Sort of like a teen advisory board, but I know many libraries use teens for shelving and pages. Ask them to help you market to their peers. And in fact, we know teens respond better to marketing from their peers than from adults telling them what to do. So those teen volunteers may have some insights that can really help you. Tip number 5 is to use your partnerships with schools. Oftentimes I see libraries have partnerships with elementary schools, but not so often with high schools. Bringing high school students in for a field trip to tour the library, or taking the library to the high school classroom and showing them all the cool, fun things that are available at the library can help. Meet up with your high school teachers and figure out what's in their curriculum that you can support the curriculum at the library. Ask them to send their teenagers to the library to do research, maybe they have like a bingo card where they can do different things at your library and they get extra credit for class. And my last tip is maybe the most important. Use your collection to draw teenagers into the library. Kids love to read. Specifically, they love to read things that are not assignments from their teachers. So market the value of your collection as a place where they can come and choose to read whatever they want in whatever format they want. Give them reading suggestions. Use your resources to help match books to their reading interests, and you'll be on your way to getting more use from teens. Now for the 3 things that are working against you that'll make this a little more difficult. First is physical location of the library. A lot of teens have a hard time getting to the library. If you work in a metro area, many of your teens may be using public transportation. That can be difficult and sometimes costly, and that may be preventing them from coming. If your service area is big, like you've got a big rural area, again, it's really hard for a teenager to get to your physical library building. Just keep that in mind as you're working towards your goal. The second thing is, some teens don't use the library because they know they're not going to be able to borrow anything because of fines. 36% of libraries are still charging fines from their collection, and this may be a barrier for some kids, especially if they don't have a source of income. And the third thing that's working against you, this is maybe the most important thing to keep in mind, is competition from other activities. After school sports, after school clubs, preparation for college, college visits, all those things that kids do after the school day, those are all competing with your library for the attention of teenagers. We may see this demographic as using the library less than other demographics. My personal belief is people come back to the library in their early adulthood because they know that we're here to support them. And frankly, the library usually has more resources for young adults than it does for teens, so that makes sense. I hope that's helpful, and I would love to hear from libraries who are having success reaching teens. I know my other viewers would too. What are you doing? Please give us your secrets down in the comments. Let's get a conversation started. And that's it for this episode of the Library Marketing Show. My channel is full of other videos that will help you out with marketing and promoting your library. If you're interested in learning more, click on this next video. I'll meet you there.